first of all, let me introduce Robin, my old college roommate, Robin Walz, and this is Paul Dorpat. Paul?
Hello, Robin.
Hi, Paul.
Hi.
Good to hear you.
Yeah, likewise. Robin, what are you doing up there in Juneau? I've never been up there to see you. I've just met you down here.
Right. Well, let's see. I've been living in Juneau for 19 years, Paul.
Wow.
I teach history. I'm a history professor at the University of Alaska Southeast. That's based here in Juneau.
Yeah. All right. Now, we have organized a conversation with you, Robin, that involves some other pictures of Alaska and Juneau, too, in hopes that you can talk about them as best you can rather than us.
Well, can I intercede here to just give it a little bit of an intro? This was attached to my trip to visit Robin in Juneau. And it's the first time I'd been to Juneau. We went about a month ago, and we showed up, and I added the mission of repeating a downtown Juneau photograph. So let's look at that photograph first.
That's very good. Good point. Thanks for grabbing that. Yeah.
So this first photograph, Paul, why don't you tell us about it, and then Robin, you can fill in the details.
Well, you sent me searching for Juneau historical pictures, and this is one that I found, and you took it up there, and Robin told you what to do and took you there. You tell me.
I met Robin, and he knew exactly where it was, looking up Seward Street. And
Seward Street. We're looking generally in it's kind of on a diagonal, but we're looking in a kind of a north direction up the street.
Yeah.
And you head up that street, and up there is where the state capitol is now.
Yeah.
And
it's about 3 blocks up, isn't it?
the state capitol, let's see, 1, 2, 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Yep. And the cross street is called Front Street. So
Now that street, Stewart Street and Front Street, and Stewart Street's really got a lot of little trinket stores, and it isn't for the tourists off the boat.
You know, there are all kinds of stores along Seward Street. It's, after Seward, Seward's Follies, right? The guy who brokered the deal, buying Alaska from the Russians.
Right.
Even though the Russians didn't really have it to sell, we bought it anyway. And you look up that street, and there's restaurants, there's offices, there's stores, a lot more trinkets on Front Street, the cross street. The tourists, they look at that hill heading up there, and they don't make it more than a block or two.
Oh, a good point. That's like the slope that leads right to Mount Juneau.
That is correct. You can kind of see Mount Juneau there, just going off to the right, off the upper right of the picture there. And,
do people ever climb Mount Juneau from Juneau?
Oh, sure, yes. There are various trails. You can go up Mount Juneau. Number of people do. I don't, because I'm a scaredy cat. It's a little bit of a treacherous trail.
Yeah.
Every summer or two, some intrepid tourist dies because they fall off the trail and fall down the mountain. Much easier is one you can't see that would be kind of behind us to the right, Mount Roberts.
Yes.
Roberts has a much better established trail to go
and
up.
that has a not cable car, but what do you call those things?
Well, here they call it the trolley, but it is a cable car. That is exactly what it is. And it runs during the summer. And the real trick is that if you hike up and then you buy a trinket in the gift shop up above, then you can ride down for free.
Wow.
Yeah, nice. Otherwise, it costs you like $35 or $40 or something.
Ooh, that's expensive. Why don't we look at some of the other Juneau pictures, and you can explain them?
So we're looking at a couple of the Juneau pictures. Frank LaRoche, right? Took these
Yes, I think most of these are LaRoche photos, a Seattle photographer, yeah.
Right, exactly. And so this is right downtown where there's their tugboat. I was saying you can see that like the things are put on these pylons. The tide's obviously low because the ships are below the docks, right?
Yes.
And where we're looking at straight on above the tugboat is like a place called the Wharf. There's a crab and salmon place you can eat there. There's a restaurant called the Wharf. There's antique stores and stuff, and it's called the wharf because, the hangar, because there used to be a airplane hangar there after this photograph, but before the restaurant. If you continue to the right, today, about where that other boat is, starts something called Marine Park, and if you keep going to the right, that's where all the cruise ships come in. The cruise ships start in like the beginning of April, and they go to like the end of September, maybe.
Can you see Seward Street in this particular picture?
I think we might be seeing Seward Street. If you kind of so follow the tugboat, see the kind of whitish building, then the more dark one.
Yeah.
Then it looks like there's a tower. I don't know, maybe it's got a bell or something on the top. I can't really tell.
There's a church there. Yeah.
But look, as there's kind of a diagonal going up. Can you see that diagonal going up the street?
Yeah.
That's Seward Street, yeah.
Okay, good. All right. How about the next one?
Let's see, the next picture down. Oops, I thought I did something right, but I didn't. There we go. Oh, yeah, this is like, it says from like if you were coming in on a cruise ship, this is kind of what you would see coming into Juneau. You'd be coming into dock there. Yeah, you can see, it's just another shot, more of a panoramic shot. You can see all of Mount Juneau there. It's really, really glorious. We're down to the next picture, which actually, it's another angle, sort of on downtown Juneau there. We've kind of gone from the left to the center, and now we're looking from the right. And Gene actually did take a picture from sort of this angle. We went up a road, Gastineau Avenue, and he looked back and took that. And I'm thinking that when you see that really, really tall building there, big one, on the kind of left center a little bit,
Right.
that's about where the governor's mansion is today. I don't know if that was the governor's mansion then or not, but that's where you'd find it today.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. So, shall we go forward?
Yeah, to the little log cabin church, huh?
Oh, yeah. Is that still there?
No, that's not there. But when you look to the right of the log cabin church,
Oh, you can see the Greek Orthodox, the Russian Orthodox Church way up the hill.
you can see the roof and the little tower there.
Yeah.
That's St. Nicholas Church. That's still there.
And that's Russian Orthodox, as Gene said?
Orthodox, yep.
And I have actually, let's take a look at that because I did take some close-ups from both back and front
Oh, we're
of the
going to
Russian
go to
Orthodox
Gene's
Church.
pictures now.
That church has been there since what, the 1890s? Was that when it was or is it earlier than that?
No, it's probably about right. It might be a little bit earlier than that, but that would be about right because there wasn't a town in Juneau before Joe Juneau and Richard Harris came, and then other people converged there to start gold mining. So
Now, did Joe Juneau beat Richard Harris in a fist fight? Why did they name the town after Joe?
because Richard Harris went to jail.
Oh.
They were both kind of, shady guys, and Richard Harris got busted. I don't know exactly, I can't remember exactly what for. So they, instead of becoming Harrisburg, it became Juneau.
Well, thank goodness, because
Harris wouldn't make it, but Juneau's exotic. It's a lovely name. I have a question. It's a little bit, Gene isn't going to like this question because it means flipping back to the church picture. Can you do that?
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
All right. What is that wonderful scarred hump of land behind the tower? Has that got a special name?
That is right below. There's a whole. I think that's Star Hill. There are houses today, not all the way up that hill, but somewhat up the hill.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's a little extension of Mount Roberts coming down from the right.
Oh, it is.
now what denomination was that log cabin church? Is that Presbyterian?
I think that was the one that was Presbyterian. Yeah.
Wow. I could feel it in my bones, Paul.
Yeah, I know.
I could feel the Presbyterian nature of that log cabin church because I descended from Presbyterians.
Well, it's also written at the bottom of the picture. Did you read that?
No, I'm just sensing it in my
He
bones.
feels it. Okay, here's a tough one for you, Robin.
Uh-oh. Yep.
What are these guys? You're the musician. You conduct probably musical groups. You play in the symphony. You play the cello like Gene does. And this is what kind of band is this? And
Well, this is a brass band. They got trumpets, they've got tubas, they've got euphonium, they've got a drum, a couple of drums. And these are the inhabitants of Metlakatla. Metlakatla is the sort of southernmost island of southeast Alaska.
Ooh,
When you go further south than that, you're in British Columbia.
my goodness.
Another curiosity is the Alaskan natives are not reservation Indians, but Metlakatla is the one sole reservation in all of Alaska.
Here's a brass band question. What became of the cornet? I mean, look, this is a cornet band, and wonder what became of it, why it became unpopular.
I'm not sure. I think trumpet is a louder instrument.
Go to the next picture, please.
But this picture is of Muir Glacier, which is in Glacier Bay. Glacier Bay is further up north.
Well, about 60 miles or what?
No, we're talking, I don't know, more like 30 or 40 miles.
Oh, well, it's much closer then.
Yeah, and this is where a lot of ships, they limit the number of ships, go in there to look at it because it's pretty spectacular. They're in Glacier Bay. Glacier Bay is, a national recreation area.
Yeah.
So it's highly protected, and it's awe-inspiring for tourists, and the some of the local Tlingit. It was a traditional harvesting area. We go up there to pick strawberries, especially, and ever since it became like a recreational area, they can't do it. But this summer, they're going to be putting up a totem and a screen, and are going to be allowed back onto into the area of around Glacier Bay. So it's a big deal around here.
Will the strawberries still be on ice there? That's kind of refreshing.
No, the ice will be there year long, but when the strawberries show up, there is no ice around the strawberry.
Shall we go on to the next picture?
Absolutely, yeah. This is the iconographic.
Thank you.
Up the miners heading up over the Chilkoot Pass.
Yeah. And this is way up at the end of that inlet, right?
That's right. This is to the left of Skagway. I think you go to, I could be wrong about this, but I think you go to like Dyea and then up over the pass. It only lasted a couple of years because that was in 1898. And by 1900, just if you head to the right there over White Pass, they'd already built the train and it was going through. So
Is that where the train goes, on the right?
The train is outside of this picture.
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
It's further to the right. Yeah.
But that's not White Pass to the right then? I mean, how did you choose whether to go right or go left?
In this case, you had to go up that because when you get to over the top, you're in the Yukon Territory, and so it's Canadian authority.
Oh, do they have a guy with a stamp up there?
Yeah, in fact, I mean that's the stories, right? That's the legend. You had to have all your supplies and everything, or they wouldn't let you in.
Yeah.
So you had to go up and down countless times so you could haul all your stuff.
Oh, gotcha. Maybe the line on the left there's assistance there for carrying heavy bundles, or something. I'm wondering why they would have two different lines, the one on the right which is scattered, and then the one on the left which is like they're all tied onto a rope, aren't they?
Well, sort of. The caption there says stairway, huh? I think that's the official way in, and so...
That's like Led Zeppelin, the Stairway to Heaven. I don't believe it's a real stairway.
It's pretty close.
Yeah.
It's pretty close. And I bet those people there were already done, and they're probably coming back. Looks like some of them come back closer than others.
And they're pretty downhearted because they didn't strike it rich.
That's also part of the legend. But I mean, I don't know.
Well, it's a good picture to examine, and we thank you for giving us an imaginative description of it.
And it's the one used at the beginning of Charlie Chaplin's The Gold Rush.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Except for Charlie Chaplin recreated it at Lake Tahoe.
Shall we go on to the next one?
Sure. Let's see, where are we here? Oh, we're in Sitka. Yeah, now Sitka, is From a European point of view, it's the oldest Russian settlement in southeast Alaska. The Russians had already been in kind of south central Alaska around Kodiak, but then in the late 1790s, they came on down to southeast Alaska. They built 3 forts there. The Tlingit burned down all 3, and the only one that got rebuilt was in Sitka.
Really? The natives burned them all down?
Yeah, the Tlingit were tough people. They were warriors, and they really didn't like the Russians too much, and so they kept them confined to a little place called Castle Hill. We call it Castle Hill in Sitka. The Russians had to build a fort and stay inside of it, basically.
We have a Sitka picture that of what's called Indian Street, eventually, that goes right up to the church.
Sitka is beautiful. If I was going to live someplace in southeast Alaska on like appearance alone, it would be Sitka. It is absolutely gorgeous there.
Wonderful. Wow.
It's out on the Pacific side. It's not the inside passage like Juneau is, and all that. Yeah, it's out there on the Pacific side.
They must have some mighty storms coming to Sitka.
They do, I think. Yeah, I think they do.
Let's go to the next one.
You know, you will not see this if you go to Sitka today. People do not put stuff out on their blankets to sell it.
Yeah.
But however, in 1997, when we moved up here on the ferries, when the ferry would come into some of the smaller towns along the way on the inside passage, people would appear. They'd just come up on the dockside, and they would appear with various wares, and those are Sitka spruce root baskets, the weaving that you see there.
Can you still buy those there?
You can, for they're very, very, very pricey as well. They should be, because they take a long time to gather and cure those roots, and then determine your pattern and weave them.
The next one. Oh yeah, this is Indian Avenue. It's identified.
Yes, this is Indian Avenue, and we are looking sort of from north to south. And the what you see there is St. Michael's Cathedral, front and center there, down the street, and that is the cathedral for southeast Alaska, and and there is a cathedral still there, and it pretty much looks like that one.
It's Russian Orthodox?
Russian Orthodox, yes. Okay. When Alaska was a territory, maybe like Washington State, I don't know, it got divided up. It was called the Comity Plan, Comity, Comity Plan, for missions and schools, divided up to different Christian denominations. And actually, Southeast Alaska was given away to the Presbyterians.
That's a real conversion experience, isn't it?
It is. A guy named Sheldon Jackson had a mission there, and there was a Sheldon Jackson College in Sitka for a really, really long time. It finally closed down just a few years ago. Next picture is, now we've moved an entirely different location, as you can imagine, to Skagway. Skagway was the entry to the Yukon. And in fact, the Alaska-Yukon highway still goes over the White Pass, the same one the train goes over.
So this is related to the Chilkoot Pass that we saw earlier. This is the same neighborhood. The
same neighborhood. Chilkoot Pass is to the left, which is north of what we're seeing.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and you bet. It's Skagway is a huge, big tourist destination. It's it's only got a population of 600-700 people, and that's in the summer. And then they're down to 300 or something in the winter.
Oh.
Yeah. And they're open. They're open for business.
Is it more of a tourist magnet than Juneau?
Yes, it's definitely more of a tourist trap. It's more Disneyland-like because fewer people live there. Well, this street is. I mean, you just have to go to a block either direction, and it starts looking pretty normal again. But they very much play up the kind of Old West gold rush, So if you get on this, they've reconstructed the wood sidewalks when you're in Skagway. So, and you can buy, Swiss jewelry there.
Swiss jewelry. Do they have little gunfights on the main street? Not real ones, but acted ones, or?
You can go into a little venue and watch, Soapy Smith, who was the Get Shot, They've got a little, Days of '98 show.
All right. Next picture.
Yeah, now here you go. This is the railroad. This is the White Pass and Yukon Railroad.
Wow.
This is the one going up from Skagway. It's only about 15 miles from Skagway up into the top of the pass. And then it's about another 95 miles to Whitehorse.
Oh, all right. Next picture. Here we go.
Oh,
we have the Eskimos.
They are like way north. Like I think I'm probably closer to Seattle than I am to where the place that those people
aren't they beautiful? I think they're pretty beautiful.
They're Inuit peoples, right? And Inuit peoples live all the way around the Arctic Circle. Doesn't matter if you're
gotcha. Very good.
Canada or Russia or Norway.
Well, okay, now it's time for me to ask Gene to rate your performance. Gene?
I give him thumbs up 10.
You got a 10 from Gene. I'm going to double that. That's 20.
Man, you guys are too generous. I give myself a 6.5.
Oh, wow.
Well, you passed.
Yeah, exactly. That's the goal.
Okay, well, on that note, say good night, fellas.
Hey, Robin, good seeing you. Or I actually don't see you unless I go forward and look at the screen. Oh, there you are. Yeah. Hi, Robin.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I don't see you at all.
Well, it's better that way, Robin. I look better in the dark, really.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Bye-bye, Robin.
Bye.
Bye-bye, Gene.
Bye, Gene.